This is a FouAVO Studio podcast.
Yo. Welcome. Hold on. Everybody stop. Welcome to episode 7 of Not Fully There. I made it. 7 episodes, man. That's crazy. 7 episodes of just me, just saying stuff. Before we get into everything, all I need is about 20 minutes of your time. 20 minutes. Yeah. 20 minutes, I think. Today, I'm more of just catching up. Trying to look back at a few of the episodes that I've done this week, or not even this week, in the past month or so. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I forgot to record. I usually try to find a topic and do a little research on it before anyway, but it's getting hot. It's hot. It is hot today. By the time I'm recording this, it's gonna be somewhat hotter, but it's kind of chill right now. It's kind of chill. But I do want to talk about a few of the episodes that I've done. Well, also, before I even get into anything, you can find this podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, any place that you can listen to podcasts is going to be available. So it's going to be there. It's going to be there. Believe me, it's going to be there. So I started off with officially starting off the podcast on. Actually, I started the podcast technically on the 4th of July. That was like a test to see if it worked, so I deleted it, so it doesn't exist. But the first ever episode came out on July 7th, followed by July 12th, followed by July 15th, July 19th, July 22nd, and July 26th. On the 7th, it was Threads versus Twitter. Is this our new social issue? With all that being said, Threads is so far has became a it's trying to be its thing, but now X, which is Twitter's brand new name, which they actually my phone got updated to show that the app says X and it's called X this morning, so now it's officially X. So now I might update the thing. It's called Threads versus X. This is our new social issue. But in that episode, I was just basically explaining like what is this our new thing, or is this the new battle? That's technically where it was that episode was talked about. The next one was Colleen Ballinger and EDP 445. What do they have in common? What they have in common, they both either some way had some type of communication with minors, and either that hurt their career or made their career, somewhat not existing anymore. So that's like a thing. I did that to like shock things, because I know when this was going to be shared on YouTube and all, I know people want to hear things about EDP because EDP did some crazy shit, and even if he doesn't want to say he did anything crazy, but he admitted what he did, and Colleen Ballinger, she admits what she did, so at least they have what they have in common. They admit it. But the problem is that there's still this whole thing with people who are targeting children and utilizing their own perversions or their own insecurities to children, and it's kind of like it's kind of messed up in a way. But I just went ahead and talked about that. And then after that, I started to kind of get a little bit more into what the podcast is going to kind of be about. So in the third episode was called "What Happened to Originality." So what happened to originality? Why are you losing confidence, and how to get it back? How powerful is nostalgia in your life, and then falling for hoaxes, unraveling the why. Those are like the past few episodes where I actually did a lot of good, decent research on, and kind of like made it make sense. And I kind of slowed down on the advertising for how powerful is nostalgia, and then falling for hoaxes. So those didn't really do too well. But the ones that did well was the social issue for Threads versus Twitter, the Colleen Ballinger one, and then what happened to originality. But then confidence did okay without any advertising. But what I also tackled is that consistency is going to be a really, really big problem for me. Here, let me explain why. These next few weeks, okay, are going to be few of the best weeks for me. And then at the same exact time, like I gotta put a lot of the stuff I've been doing, like content creating stuff aside, or try to do what I used to do back when I was doing the internet properly. Pause. When I was doing the internet properly, by just recording a bunch of bulk projects and then go from there. But I'm not a person on the internet who people really kind of give a shit about. Okay, so it's a little hard to still kind of keep up what I'm doing, because I feel like every Monday I've been making like the meme reaction stuff, because I stream on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. If I mentioned it, if I didn't mention it, I don't know. I don't really know anymore. I've been recording this podcast like 2 or 3 times in the past like hour. Behind the scenes magic. No, but I've I have so many things I would like to do, especially on like when I'm doing the meme reactions and stuff, and like watching the reaction videos. I don't want to turn my whole main channel to reactions. I don't. I haven't really. I have a few projects I want to work on, short films that I feel like if I do that, if I put all the time in, nobody's gonna watch them. So I gotta put it on everything. That's why with this podcast not starting maybe today. By the time this comes out, which I'm recording it on Saturday, I might start streaming it on Twitch, then cutting the video up, publishing it on YouTube, and then have it available on YouTube, and so for people to watch it that way. Because I have to go through those steps just to get eyes and ears onto the podcast, which again, it's about the same thing from about originality and back on that episode about originality and an episode about confidence. And the same thing for the Falling for Hosts. It's like you got to get eyes and ears onto everything. And it's like I'm not good at advertising. I'm a one-man crew at the moment when I'm doing Not Fully There, or I'm doing when I'm doing this podcast, when I'm doing my Twitch streams, all that, I'm doing everything all by myself. So it's harder to kind of get content out there, and not doing a lot of research for content. I'm just watching things that I like to watch. And that's one thing that if you watch all those videos on like how to get big on Twitch, how to get big on YouTube, just make stuff that you want to make things that would make you happy. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. Okay, I can care less on these things. And I did it at one point. One of my videos I made back in 2020, November 2020 was like how to get big on YouTube. I did it. I fell into one of those rabbit holes. I produced that video. That was like a highly produced video with one of my expensive cameras that I have, and it did well. But it did well because I advertised it using $80 of my money. But I started to understand that wasn't it, and that was like kind of one of my last videos. I think one of my last videos before I lost my office. Not this office I'm in because this is my house, but the office I had that we had with myself and a few of my friends. My last video was like Twitter banned me because Twitter was out there banning a bunch of accounts and stuff, and it was a time. It was weird. So I did that video knowing that that day was gonna be the last day in that studio technically, and I was just saying funny stuff, doing stuff, but I didn't get a chance to keep continuing with that momentum, and the whole consistency thing calls it a problem, and I can't be consistent enough because I have all these things I would like to do. Then I start to get into that mode that, all right, I'm doing this, but now I got to advertise. I got to respond to comments. I got to share this. I got to create a media kit and all the other stuff. Like I'm slowly working on my social media kit, but my social media kit is going to be extremely hard to sell because I use a lot of profanity in my live videos. I use a lot of profanity sometimes in this podcast. 100% Random is not a 100% Random is not a family-friendly podcast. It is an uncensored, unfiltered podcast. So, like some of the advertisers I want to work with are going to be places that, you know, maybe they don't care about all of this. So like for example, I want to get into especially for this podcast, a BetterHelp like advertisement, because I do talk about mental health sometimes, and also as a black man, I try my best to explain that hey, I'm also a black guy. That mental health is something that needs to be tackled in our community because a lot of the things that people go through, especially being black and brown, and it doesn't really matter if you're black or brown, but a lot of people go through the same thing that men need to talk more about what they go through because we keep things bottled up and then either they lash out on loved ones or they lash out on themselves or they start doing stupid shit that causes their careers or causes their own mental stability to be fractured. And sometimes, like, if you have an outlet, which my outlet is this, being creative. I always had a creative mind, but I'm never like any of those people. But those are the examples that I've seen happen physically in my own two eyes. Either it happened to some of my friends or family. It's hard, and it's like you gotta find an outlet to help you, so others can help you around you because that's what's going to happen. You need others, you need other people, you need you need their positive energy to help protect you from any harm, either good or bad. And it's like it's really difficult to kind of like put everything into words, but I want to get that sponsorship, but sometimes the requirements are a little off. You need to have these amount of downloads. You need to have this. You need to have that. Like my downloads are my downloads are so complicated over around the board because I use Spotify I use podcasters for Spotify, which used to be Anchor.fm. The reason why I came to Anchor because they gave me an ability to have ads on my videos and all that. So I had an ad every time I recorded. There was an ad. I was making money every single time I uploaded a podcast. I was making money. Either it was when it was shared to all platforms, I was making money. And like it's 30 cents, dollar here and there. They start building up. And that's the thing that matters. And that's things that I've been telling people that, oh, I'm not on this thing to be sitting here thinking I'm going to be making $100,000. I don't even care if like anything I do every week is going to cost me to make 30 cents. It's like I've been so accustomed to like working so hard to get a little to nothing that I will just take anything that's there. And that's why sometimes with that whole consistency issue I had, I stopped it because at one point I'm like, I put in all my money into this. Like my website was being paid. FouAVO.com was being paid from the money coming from It's Otaku TV, which is my nerd anime geek channel. That was basically paying the podcast. I mean, back then it was paying for the money from that was paying for the website and paying for paying for the money to advertise 100% random. That's what happened. 100% Random was getting money from a YouTube channel that I have, and then that money was going into 100% Random, and the money from 100% Random was going back into FouAVO, and from FouAVO going into the YouTube channels, and then trying to also at one point help everybody else who's on the podcast, but then that didn't work out because of our hiatuses. We went off and on. So right now I have money in there, but I can't cash it out because we lost. Because when Anchor, when Spotify bought Anchor, it took all the money, every single thing that was had ads on, because I had like maybe one or two ads on every podcast. No longer could be monetized. No longer. So it's been a fight and it's been a journey, man. It's like it's confusing because I want to do a lot. I want to do a whole lot more. I want to be able to bring back the old channels. I want to be able to work on the projects I was going to work on when I had my office. I had a few people that I was going to work with and on like projects and all, and some things didn't work out, maybe for personal issues because of like people I was working with on 100% Random at the time. Or maybe it was just, I don't know. Maybe I will never fully understand exactly why they felt like in that moment. But I might try to reach out, and because I've been trying to work on other projects other than my own, and I'm not trying to say that, oh, I don't like making podcasts, I don't like producing live content, I don't like doing any of this. I want to do what I've been trying to do. I want to make a short film, but I want to first work on a project that's not mine, because I can easily start working on my short films like automatically. I could just hop on whatever, start finding people, hiring a crew, and start working on my shows. Because I have 2 or 3 I've been working on since 2013. I have another show that I started writing in 2020 that was gonna work around the time I was gonna work with the people I was gonna work with. So I had like a few projects like ready to go on, and none of it went through. None of it happened. Because I lost out on a little bit of funding, because when you're doing a short film, it's all your money. You gotta put all your eggs in the basket. Because I was gonna put all my time and effort into producing a good, decent pilot for one of my shows, and just try to sell it, try to get eyes and ears on it. And if it wasn't gonna work that way, I was going to just distribute it myself on Amazon and then on YouTube and just go from there. And then I started looking into Tubi, and I was like, nah, bro, I don't want to have this movie on Tubi, and then I feel like it's bombing, and then nobody wants to watch anything else from me because it's on Tubi. Tubi has some decent stuff on there. I'm not gonna lie. It depends on who's who, and depends on the quality. So, yeah, I don't really know what else like to say. Really, I'm just trying to catch up on some things in this podcast. I can't keep up with this like consistency thing. Like, it's hard. When I feel like I'm wasting my time, and I don't want to start feeling that way, that I'm taking like a half an hour of my day every time. Like, 'cause it takes me 30 minutes. It takes me like about 40 minutes to record, 20 minutes to like. It takes me 20 minutes to record, about another 20 to like edit it, test it out, and upload it, and then schedule it. It just takes. I don't feel like that. I'm wasting like about a half an hour or half an hour to like 40 minutes of my time. And then on Spotify, when I'm looking at my plays, it just says, "Oh, you have 6 plays on one of your podcasts. You have 1 play." Like, if I log in right now into one of my accounts, I know for a fact that on Apple Podcasters, Apple Podcasts, it's going to tell me that, "Oh yeah, you got more than that. You got more than that, buddy. You got more than that. You got more than that." Yeah, so just like looking at right now, like I have more views and more connections on with Podcasters Connect. Yo, that's crazy, man. Look, I'm just trying. I'm going to keep this going on for how long? For as long as I can go. And then after that, I might slow it down. If it's not every Wednesday or Saturday, it might just be every Wednesday. I just feel like that I need to put more time into some other things, but it just depends on, everything also depends on, what's happening in my life and what's what. I mean, I like to do this podcast. Like I like doing 100% random as well, but 100% random, that's a project that's just for me and my friends, and that's something where we can have fun and talk about other stuff. And then with this one, it's more of like a solo thing, because I didn't want to always like do a solo cast with 100% random, and then feel like if it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel right. So that's why when I started Not Fully There, I'm like, this is for me a little bit. This is for me to kind of like say stuff and get my mind out there to the world. Because I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm an interesting person, but I have some things I would like to talk about, and I have things that I would like to always support. And I just wish that I had a little bit more people on the end. So I need advertisers, man. I need people to come onto the show and help me, man. Help. But with that all being said, I'm about to hop off here. I'll see everybody Wednesday. So make sure y'all drink some water and support your local black businesses. And also check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/thisdion14. And I'll peace out. Peace out. What am I talking about?
This is a FouAVO Studio podcast.